The champagne tower toppled. Crystal flutes shattered across the floor. I stood on the stage, the train of my wedding dress soaked in champagne. The MC's microphone was still raised. 300 pairs of eyes stabbed into my back like needles. My phone rang. It was Gavin's. He glanced at the screen, his brows knitting, then he answered. "Hello." The word was soft, but the MIC was close. The whole room heard it. "What? Now?" "Okay, I'm on my way." He ended the call, turned to me, gaze dodging. "Jade, you're leaving?" My voice sounded calm, unnaturally calm. "She's in trouble," Gavin said. "Who?" "Luna. His old. Studied abroad 3 years ago, back last month." "What happened?" "Car crash. Dead." Gavin blinked. "No. Catastrophically hurt?" "Not exactly. Just a scratch." "Jade." He lowered his voice. "Can you not make a scene? She's alone at the hospital, terrified." I laughed. "So our wedding rate's below her scratch?" "It's not. 300 guests. My parents flew in from Singapore. Yours sit in the front row." "Gavin." My voice trembled. How am I supposed to explain this on stage? His phone buzzed again. One look and his face changed. "I have to go." "Gavin." I seized his wrist. Lace from my gown snagged his cufflink, rip thread snapped, mirroring my shredded dignity. "You walk out," I said. "We're done." He stared at me for 3 seconds, maybe less, then pried my fingers off. "Sorry." He spun away, almost running. The tail of his tux flared like a getaway flag. Gasps swept the hall. Mom shot to her feet. Dad's face turned stone gray. Gavin's parents froze. His mother opened her mouth, no sound. Alone on the platform, dress heavy, veil heavier, I couldn't breathe. The MC tried to salvage it. The groom was called away urgently. Feedback screeched through the speakers. I took the MIC, my hand shook. "Sorry," I said, barely audible, yet the room hushed. "Wedding's off. All gifts will be returned in full. Dinner is served, enjoy." I pivoted, tripped on the voluminous skirt. A hand caught me, long, strong, knuckles pronounced. I looked up into eyes black and deep, half smiling. "Asher. My lifelong sparring partner since kindergarten." "Steady," he murmured, low enough only for me. "Let go." I tried to pull free. His grip firmed. "Want an encore faceplant for 300 spectators?" I froze. He turned us toward the crowd. "Folks," his voice carried, "I'm Asher. Today, I marry Jade." My eyes bulged. "You're insane." "Hush." He dipped his head, gaze earnest, no joke. "Work with me." "Why should I?" "Because you're trapped up here. Because I've kept you secret for 15 years. I stared. He smiled, thin but disarming. "A lie," he admitted, "but believable enough, right?" Murmurs rippled. Mom clapped a hand over her mouth. Dad stood. Asher's parents, old friends of mine, sat second row, expressions conflicted. Asher laced our fingers. "Exit A, come with me. Exit B, stay and provide comic relief till the lights dim." I weighed 3 seconds, then squeezed back. "Let's go." We strode offstage, fast. He scooped the dragging train with one hand, practiced, as if he'd rehearsed forever. "Asher. Why help me? Gavin annoys me." That's it. His profile looked cut from granite, but the tips of his ears, were they red? Must be the lights. Backstage chaos. Makeup shrieked, photographer tailed us. Asher towed me down the corridor, shouldered a side door. Sunlight blazed. He paused on the steps. "Jade. What? Still want a wedding? Come again." "I'm asking," he enunciated. "Shall we finish this ceremony with me? Marry you?" "Me?" I snorted, half hysterical. "Asher, we've battled since Crayons. Know each other inside out. I despise you. You hate the Taylor version of me. Still hate." He stepped closer. I retreated, back hitting wall. "Right now," he said, "you hate Gavin more. Option 1, let me help you slap Gavin's face. Option 2, stay the laughingstock. Choose." I studied him. His irises were bottomless black, yet weirdly reassuring. "How exactly?" "License." Today. You've lost it. Civil Affairs bureaus still open. Asher. Scared. Cheap taunt. Worked anyway. Bring it. His grin turned genuine, eyes crescents, like he'd stolen the last cookie. Move. He headed for the parking lot. Train too long, I couldn't run. He stopped, scooped me up arm under knees, hand at back. Asher. Saves minutes. Put me down. Keep yelling and I'll kiss you. I shut up. He chuckled. The vibration thumped against me, furnace hot. Before we continue, please smash subscribe and tell us where you're listening from. The hall was empty. Cameron, no couples marrying or divorcing. Asher set me on a plastic chair, filled forms. I watched his back, guest attire, not a tux, yet on him it felt official. Names? Staff asked. Asher. Jade. Marrying of your own free will? Yes. He looked at me. Yes. Mine came small but clear. Photo. Still in wedding gown, veil askew, his tie loose. We faced the camera, dead serious. Click. Little red book. Gold foil letters, Asher.Jade, wedding date, today. Same date reserved for Gavin. Irony noted. Now what? I asked. Home. Whose? Yours. Morgan. Gavin won't be back, Asher cut in, not tonight. How can you know? Luna's checked into psych. A scratch lands you in psych. 3 years ago, before she left, she swallowed sleeping pills. Gavin feels he owes her a life. He couldn't risk staying. His eyes darkened. Jade, you didn't lose to an old, you lost to guilt. I squeezed the booklet. Paper edges bit my palm. Win or lose, whatever. He publicly humiliated me. Humiliated my parents. Turned me into a punchline. Asher said nothing. He opened the car door, eased me in rough, then gentle with the seatbelt. Then we make him pay. How? First, home. Then, he buckled up, sleep. Tomorrow we go to war. I studied his profile against sunset, sharp as a blade. Asher. Yeah. Why are you really doing this? Long silence, so long I thought he'd ignore it. When I was 15, he said at last, you gave me a strawberry candy. Told me, Asher, you look ugly crying. Candy makes it better. I blinked. Memory blank. One candy. 8 years I've kept it. Cheap price for me, huh? I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Outside the car window, streetlights flickered on, one after another like guideposts, like traps. The Vance mansion blazed. My mother stood at the gate, eyes red. My father smoked, fingers trembling. Jade. Mom threw herself at me. That bastard. I told your father to break his legs. Mom, don't stop me, Mom. I lifted the little red booklet. I got married. She froze. Dad's cigarette dropped. To who? Asher. Silence. Absolute silence. Then, good. Dad slapped his thigh. Better than that punk Gavin, Richard. I watched Asher grow up. I watched him grow up too. So what? He and Jade fought from kindergarten. Fighting means affection. My parents bickered. Asher stood behind me, chuckling. Happy. About what? Your parents approve. They approve of you, not me. Same difference. He stepped in front, bending to eye level. Jade, from now on we're husband and wife on paper, by law. You can call it off anytime. But until then, play along. Play along how? Help me, he said, eyes bright, make you win. I stared at him a long moment. Then, fine. But I have a condition. Shoot. When we win, we divorce. He hesitated, smile dimming but intact. Deal. Mutual benefit. What do you get? You. 8 years, he said. I want to see if 3 months of marriage is a fair trade. After 3, if you want out, I won't stop you. My heart fluttered, I crushed it. Done. I offered my hand, he took it. Warm, dry, strong like a promise, like a shackle. Day 7. Gavin returned. Not alone. Luna on his arm, white dress, bare face, fragile beauty. Me, silk robe, hair dripping. Asher came from the kitchen, 2 coffees. Seeing them, he raised a brow. Oh. Welcome back. Gavin's face paled, gaze ping-ponging. You too. We're married. I lifted my left hand. Yesterday's 3-carat diamond flashed. Gavin's pupils shrank. Impossible. City Hall has records, Asher said. Check if you like. Jade. Gavin stepped closer. We broke up 7 days ago. You broke up, I corrected. I got married. You. And, I smiled, you walked first. I had an emergency. Emergency? Dylan's scraped knee? Luna's eyes reddened. Jordan, I'm sorry. I was so scared that day. Scared of what? Being alone. So you borrowed someone else's groom? Dylan, Asher said. Where'd you earn your PhD in psychology? Luna blinked. Stanford. Or Columbia. Stanford. Then you know, he set his cup down. Manipulative suicide threats count as emotional abuse. Luna turned white. I never. 3 years ago, sleeping pills, Asher said. Hospital record, dosage 1/3 of lethal. Discharged same day after gastric lavage. That's not suicide, that's theater. Gavin moved in front of her. Asher. Enough. Excessive. Asher's smile was ice. You dumped your fiancé for your ex, now you want what? Gavin inhaled. My things. What things? This house, he said. I paid the down payment. I froze. What? 3 years ago your dad's company hit a cash crunch, the house was about to be auctioned. I wired $5 million. Title's in your name, he looked at me, but the money's mine. $5 million. I hadn't known. I'd been studying abroad, Mom and Dad said the crisis was over. So? Asher asked. So, Gavin straightened, I own half the house. Or buy me out, $5 million plus 3 years interest, 7 total. My nails cut crescents into my palms. Gavin, we were engaged 3 years. During that time What? He cut in. What did you ever buy me? Give me. Besides that face, what do you have? Every word a blade. I went cold. She gave you 15% of Vance Industries, Asher said. Quinn. What? 3 years ago, Casey, Asher said, your father transferred 15% to Gavin as collateral. I looked at Dad at the foot of the stairs, face ashen. Dad, no choice then. Why didn't you tell me? Didn't want you worried. I laughed, bitter. So Gavin's a shareholder? Second largest, Asher said. After your dad. Gavin adjusted his cuffs, elegant, sure he'd won. Jade, I don't want war. House or shares, pick one. Otherwise, he smiled, I sue for division of marital property. We were never married. 3-year engagement, he said. Courts can deem it common law marriage. Or, he glanced at Asher, Mr. Blackwood cares to pay for wife's debt. Asher said nothing. He set his cup down, walked toward Gavin, each step a drum on my heart. 7 million? Yes. The shares. Market value about 30. Total, 37 million. Asher nodded. Small change. Rowan. What? Meaning, Asher stopped in front of Gavin, I'll buy. Your stake, premium offer, 45 million, contract today. Gavin's pupils quaked. You're insane. Vance market cap. I know the numbers, Asher cut in. I just don't want you as a shareholder. Not for a second. 45 million to make you disappear. Deal? Luna tugged Gavin's sleeve. Yang. Gavin looked at her, at me, at Asher. Deal. He spat it, eyes blazing greed. Asher turned, pulled a contract from the drawer. Sign. Had it ready. How did you? I knew he'd come, Asher said, knew he'd demand the shares. Knew, he glanced at me, you'd soften. I stared. I wouldn't. You would. He squeezed my hand. Jade, mercy to enemies is cruelty to yourself. I'll teach you. Gavin signed, pen tearing the paper. He glared. Jade, you'll regret marrying this psycho. He doesn't love you, he's just using you to hurt me. I looked at the man I'd loved 3 years. Gavin. Yeah, you know, I said, your biggest mistake? What? When you walked away, I said, you never looked back. If you had, you'd have seen I wasn't crying. I was planning how to make you pay. He froze. Asher's arm circled my waist. Let's go. Sam, Dylan. See yourselves out. The moment the door shut, my knees buckled. Asher caught me. Scared? No. Then why shaking? Cold. He laughed softly, lifted me, carried me to the couch. Asher. 45 million. Pocket change. To you, maybe, to me. To us. He corrected. Jade, we're married now. What's yours is mine, what's mine? Debts too? I'll carry the debt myself. Why? He set me on the couch, dropped to one knee, and met my eyes. Because, he said, I married you, not your debt. My heart gave a jolt. Then what did you marry me for? He didn't answer. He only reached out, tucked my still dripping hair behind my ear, the gesture gentle, as if I were fragile. Go change, he said. We've got a war this afternoon. What? The board meeting. Gavin's gone, but he left a nail behind. What nail? Before he transferred his shares, Asher said, he nominated someone to the board. Who? Luna. My eyes went wide. Huh? PhD in psychology from Stanford, Asher said. Hired as group psychological consultant. 0 shares, 1 voting right. Gavin's trap. He wants to control you, mind and decisions. Luna's good at that. So what do we do? Asher grinned, the same wicked smile Taylor wore when he stole my candy. Fight fire, he said, with fire. Asterisk. Vance Industries boardroom. 12 people sat along the long table. My father at the head, face haggard. I sat to his right, Asher beside me. Luna at the far end in a beige suit, hair twisted up. Meeting open, my father rasped. First item, scope of authority for the group psychological consultant. Luna raised a hand. Riley, I have a motion. Add an annual executive mental health evaluation. All middle management and above. Fail, and you're reassigned or dismissed. I narrowed my eyes. Evaluation criteria? I set them, she said sweetly. Jordan has a problem with that. Yes. Opaque standards, too subjective. It's a professional assessment. Your profession? I cut in. PhD from Stanford, what's your research area? She hesitated. Clinical psychology. Specifically, post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD? Correct. I smiled and looked at Asher. He slid a file toward me. This is Avery's dissertation, I said. Clinical features of histrionic personality disorder. Brilliant work. Chapter 3 especially, how to manipulate others through displays of vulnerability. Luna's face changed. I move, I said, that Avery take her own test first. Let's see if she clocks positive for histrionic traits. The room went still. Some stared at the table, others bit back laughter. My father coughed. Second item, he said. Development plan for the Midtown South parcel. The flagship project, $1 billion investment this year. I recommend, Luna tried again, we suspend development. Reason? The feng shui is bad. Excuse me, I've studied it, she said. The land used to be a burial ground. It'll damage employee mental health. I laughed out loud. Avery, you're a psychologist, not a fortune teller. Environmental psychology includes superstition. I snapped. If employees feel it's unlucky, productivity drops. Then if they feel you're a jinx, should we fire you? Luna's eyes reddened. Jordan, you're targeting me. Correct. I stood, palms flat on the table. You walked into my house, stole my fiancé, and now you want to torpedo my project. Luna, thought tears were a master key? Silence. My father opened his mouth, said nothing. Under the table Asher squeezed my hand once. I inhaled. Saturday. Midtown South proceeds. Funding secured. Blackwood Group is injecting $500 million. Murmurs rippled. Asher spoke. Asher. As of today, Vance Industries' second largest shareholder. I back my wife's decision. Wife. The word rolled off his tongue like it had always belonged. Luna went white. But, the board must vote. Vote, I said. All in favor of development, raise your hand. My father lifted his. Asher raised his. Directors followed, one by one. 10-4. 1 against. Luna. Motion carries, I said. You have one vote. And I looked at Asher. I propose we amend the bylaws. Psychological consultant loses voting rights, keeps advisory capacity only. Heads nodded around the table. Luna sprang up. You can't do this. It's discrimination. It's risk management, I said. Avery, your job is to heal, not to rule. Go back to your counseling room. She turned to Asher, pleading. He didn't look at her. He was looking at me, eyes bright with pride. Asterisk. I stepped out of the boardroom, legs shaking. Asher caught up. First time? For what? First time shredding someone in public. Yeah. How'd it feel? I thought. Amazing. He chuckled. Gets better. How? Gavin's credit line just snapped. I froze. What? He took the 45 million, poured it into a P2P platform. A platform I happen to own. Today, he checked his watch. It imploded. My mouth fell open. You set him up. I invested, he said. Investments carry risk. Jamie was greedy. Gravity did the rest. The money. Gone, Asher said. He won't recover for 3 years, minimum. I stared at the man I'd hated since we were kids. Asher. Did you plan this from the wedding day? Silence. Then, from the day I was 15, he said. What? Plan A, make you notice me. Plan B, make you need me. My heart skipped. That's manipulation. That's courtship, he corrected. Manipulation controls. Courtship wins. What I want has never been control. Then what? He held my gaze so long the elevator came and left. You, he said. Just you. Even if you hate me. Even if you divorce me in 3 months. I still want you to win. I opened my mouth, no words. My phone rang. Mom. Jade. Gavin's here. On his knees at our gate. Begging forgiveness. I looked at Asher. Going, he asked. Going. To do what? Watch the show, I said. Then close the gate and beat the dog. Asterisk. Vance Mansion gate. Gavin knelt, suit wrinkled, hair wild, eyes red, a stray dog in human form. Luna beside him, tugging his arm. Gavin, don't do this. Get lost. He flung her off. It's your fault. If you hadn't called. You answered, she screamed, crying. You chose. Did I throw you at her? They turned on each other. I stood on the top step, watching the farce. Asher behind me, hand on my shoulder. Enjoying it. Moderately. Want fireworks? How? He pulled out his phone, dialed. Now, he said and hung up. A black sedan rolled up. 2 uniformed officers stepped out. Ellis. Financial Crime Unit. You're wanted for illegal fundraising. Come with us. Gavin's face drained. What? The P2P scheme. Investors say you defrauded them. I didn't. Tell it downtown. Gavin looked at me, desperate. Jade, help me. I didn't move. Gavin, I said, know what's ironic? You kneel here begging forgiveness, but your eyes are still on my money, not me. He froze. If I were broke, would you still kneel? No. I shook my head. So I won't save you. They took him away. Luna tried to run, but another officer blocked her. Dylan, you're also implicated in aiding fraud. Please cooperate with the investigation. She collapsed on the floor, her makeup smeared like a ghost. I turned and walked inside. Asher followed. Feeling ruthless? No. Then why aren't you smiling? I stopped. Because, I said, I've knelt before too. What? When I was 15, my mom was sick. I went to Gavin to borrow money. He lent it. But he made me kneel for 10 minutes. Asher froze. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. I said. You were abroad then, exchange student, 2 years. By the time I came back, you and Gavin were together. I looked at him. Asher, you missed a lot. I know, he said. So I'm making up for it. How? With a lifetime, he said. If 3 months isn't enough, then 3 years. 30 years. Until you believe me. My heart fluttered. Asher. Do you really like me? He didn't answer. He just bent down, scooped me up, and carried me toward the bedroom. Asher, sleep. You're tired, he said. Your eyes are red. I won't touch you, just stay with you, unless you want me to. I punched him. He laughed softly, laid me on the bed, and pulled the covers over me. He lay beside me, a fist's width between us. Asher. When we were Taylor, why did you always steal my stuff? To get your attention. Pretty stupid, huh? Very stupid, he said. But it's all I knew. And now, he turned his head to look at me. I know other ways. Like what? Protect you. Support you. Let you win. And, he was quiet. Then, love you, he said. Soft, but clear. I closed my eyes, didn't answer, but didn't let go either. In the dark, his hand found mine, fingers interlaced. Sleep, he said. There's a battle tomorrow. What battle? Someone's behind Luna. Who? Gavin's uncle. Provincial finance chief. Emery, he'll retaliate. I squeezed his hand. Scared? No. Why? Because, he said, this time we're together. I opened my eyes, stared at the ceiling. The moonlight was bright, like hope, like a trap. But beside me, someone warm, real. Asher. 3 months is too short. He stiffened. What? I said. I turned to face him. When the contract expires, can we renew? In the dark, his eyes were bright, like stars. Sure, he said. How long? A lifetime. Deal. I said. But one condition. Name it. From now on, if you want to steal my things, you have to ask first. He laughed, pulled me into his arms. Okay, he said. I'll ask. Ask, can I steal your heart? Can you? Yes. I said. I gave it to you long ago. You just didn't know. He froze. Then, his kiss came. Not on the forehead, on the lips. Light, like a test. I kissed back. Like returning the strawberry candy at 15. Sweet, bitter, but worth it. 1 week later, Gavin's uncle arrived. Not alone, he brought an audit team, stationed at Vance Industries, auditing the books. Routine inspection. Team said, eyes pinned on Asher and me. Just cooperate. We cooperated for 3 days. On the 4th, they took the CFO. Suspected tax evasion. My dad fell ill, Alex, hospitalized. My mom stayed by his side. I held the fort at the company, Asher beside me. They're coming for me. I said. No, Asher said, they're coming for us. What do you mean? The audit is focusing on a $5 million payment from 3 years ago. I froze. The money Gavin advanced. Exactly. But that was already repaid. Asher said. But the accounting is flawed. The repayment came from Vance revenue. Revenue that was never declared. My eyes went wide. So it's tax evasion? A trap set by Gavin. Asher said. 3 years ago he fronted the money, but demanded repayment from revenue, off the books. Your dad, desperate and sick, agreed. Now it's leverage. A chill ran through me. Gavin's in the bureau and still setting traps. His uncle set it. Asher said. Goal. Force you to divorce. What? Audit team, Asher said, just talk to me. Terms. Divorce me, marry Gavin, and Vance stays safe. I laughed, angry laughter. Are they insane? They think you'll compromise for your parents. Will I? I looked at Asher. No, he said. But I was afraid you'd suffer, so I prepared a plan B. What? He handed me a folder. The original contract for Gavin's loan 3 years ago. I flipped to the last page. There was Gavin's signature, and a line of fine print. This sum is a gift, no repayment required. What? I had it added. Asher said. When? 3 years ago. I stared at him like he was a stranger. Asher, what exactly are you? Your husband, he said. Legally. And the man who's wanted to protect you since I was 15. Audit team called. Jordan, have you considered? No consideration needed. I said. I've submitted evidence. What evidence? The money was a gift, no debt, no tax evasion. Silence on the line. Jordan, you sure you want to go against us? Not against, I said, just obeying the law. You abused power. I'll whistleblow to the commission. You. Team, I said, Your son studies in England, right? Tuition 40 grand a year. Your salary cover that? Click. Dial tone. Asher raised an eyebrow. Threatening him? Learning from them. I said. Fight fire with fire. 3 days later, audit withdrew. Team was taken for investigation. Gavin's uncle was summoned for talks. Vance Industries landed safely. My dad was discharged. He held my hand. Jade, you've grown up. I said nothing, looked at Asher. He stood by the window, sunlight gilding him like gold. He taught me. I said. Asher, yeah. Dad sighed. Taylor, I used to worry you two would fight. Now what? Now I worry he spoils you too much. I laughed, walked to Asher. He turned from the window, reached out, naturally pulled me close. Murrin. I'll keep spoiling her. For life. Dad shook his head and left, muttering, daughters are hard to keep. I leaned into Asher's chest. Is it over? No, he said. Luna isn't finished. Isn't she locked up? Medical parole. What illness? Depression. Fake. Half real, half act. Asher said. But the person behind her isn't Gavin's uncle anymore. Who? Her father. Luna's father. Provincial Chamber of Commerce president. Trickier than Gavin's uncle. I clenched my fists. It never ends. So, Asher said, we strike first. How? Get married. Didn't we already? Hold a wedding, he said. A grand one. Invite everyone. Including Victor. Why? Because, he smiled, I'm going to announce something in public. Blackwood Group merges into Vance Industries. I'm marrying into your family as dowry. Are you insane? Crazy for you. He said. Started the day I turned 15. Now it's just more obvious. My heart burned. Asher. What if I say no? You'll say yes. Why? Because, he lowered his head, forehead touching mine, you're crazy too. For me. I didn't deny it. He was right. The wedding was set for the end of the month. Bigger than the last. 3,000 guests, entire hotel booked. Asher orchestrated everything. Bride doesn't worry, just shows up and says yes. The day I showed up I wore a custom gown, 10-meter train, studded with diamonds like a galaxy. Asher stood at the altar, black tux, strawberry brooch at the lapel. Luna came, in a corner, white dress, ghostly. Her father sat front row, face stone. MC was Asher's brother, talkative, but he skipped the speak now or forever hold your peace bit. Rings straight away, Asher said. Saves time and keeps anyone from begging for death. Ring on, he kissed me long, deep. The hall erupted. Luna stood. I have something to say. Security moved. Asher lifted a hand. Let her. She walked up, white dress on red carpet like a stain. Jade, she said, think you've won? No, I answered. I know the fight's not over. But this is a wedding. Today we talk love, not war. She laughed, twisted. Love. Asher loves you. He loves your name, your shares, everything you own. I looked at Asher. His expression never shifted. Finished? He asked Luna. No. I'll expose you. 3 years ago you had contracts altered, you spied on Gavin, you pulled every string. You don't love her, you're possessive. Silence. Everyone waited. He smiled, thin. Correct. I manipulated. I watched. I set the board. Not out of possession, he met my eyes, but because she's worth it. The day I turned 15 she gave me a candy. Said candy makes life less bitter. My parents had just divorced. I was crying on the field, alone. Only she cared. She's worth 8 years of plotting, worth giving up Blackwood Group, worth, he paused, becoming someone better, someone who deserves her. Luna stepped back. You, Dylan, Asher said, you studied psychology. You know love has 2 types, taking and giving. You and your father are takers. Jade and I, he laced his fingers through mine, are givers. That's why you'll never win. Luna's face drained. Her father rose. Asher, sure you want war? Victor, Asher answered, I already declared it. Blackwood merges into Vance, announcement tomorrow. Come after Vance, you come after me. But remember, Blackwood's core patents are in my name, not the company. Crush Vance, I pull the patents, Blackwood becomes a shell, 3,000 staff jobless. The press will ask why, and they'll point at you. Victor froze. That a threat? A negotiation, Asher said. Simple terms. Your daughter leaves this city, never returns. Or we both burn. Long silence. Victor looked at his child, eyes conflicted. Luna, he said, go. Dad, go. Luna broke, real tears, wailing like a child whose toy's been stolen. They led her out. Wedding resumed. Cake cut, champagne popped, dancing. Asher's arm circled my waist in the middle of the floor. Satisfied? Brutal, I said. Brutal, he murmured. For her it's mercy, meaning, if she stays, she'll truly lose her mind. She loves you, I said. No, he replied. She loves Gavin. But Gavin loves you, so she wants you ruined. Can't have, destroy, that's her disease. I'm treating it. How? Remove the cause. That means remove her from us. Music shifted to a slow song. He pulled me closer, chin on my head. Jade. 3 months are up. My heart clenched. You want a divorce? No. He smiled. I want renewal. How long? 100 years. People don't live that long. Then, he said, next lifetime. And the next. Until the universe ends. I laughed. Asher. Yeah. Did you map all this from age 15? No, he said. I only planned one thing. Which? Make you love me. The rest was improvisation. You succeeded. What? Made me love you. He stilled, then kissed me, in front of 3,000, under the spotlights. A long kiss, a promise, a beginning. 1 year later. Vance Group CEO office. I sat in the leather chair reading financials. Asher lounged across the sofa with his tablet. Wife. What's for dinner? Whatever. Strawberries. Are you 5? The one you gave me at 15 was strawberry, he said. So strawberries are all I eat for life. I tossed him a folder. Read. What? Gavin's status. He opened it, frowning. Released. Yesterday. Where? Hometown. Doing what? Running a corner store. Asher blinked. Come again. Corner store, I said. Sells smokes, beer and strawberry candy. He stared, eyes stormy. You arranged it. I had someone pass a message. Which? Jade likes strawberries. But at 15 she only ever gave one piece to a single boy. Asher froze. You. I checked, I said. The boy crying behind the school that day wasn't Gavin, it was you. Gavin just walked by, picked the candy up. Then he lied for 8 years. Asher set the tablet down, walked over, slow, gaze molten. When did you know? Before the wedding. Why didn't you expose it? Because, I said, I wanted to see how far you'd go for me. If it were only about the candy you'd have stopped long ago. But you didn't. You surrendered Blackwood, proposed in front of the world, fought at my side. The candy was the spark, not the reason. He stopped, hands braced on the chair arms, caging me. Then what's the reason? Me. I smiled. Jade. Not the girl at 15, the woman now. You love who I am today. His grin softened, cotton candy sweet. Yes, he said. I love you now, fierce, ruthless, brilliant. Addictive. You. I grabbed his tie, yanked him close. Asher. Yeah, let's have a child. He blinked. Say that again. A baby, I said. Heir to Vance and to Blackwood. Let them know how mommy and lifelong turned into husband and wife. Heat flared in his eyes, surprise to blaze. Right now, right now. He lifted me from the chair, carried me to the lounge. Asher, you said now. I meant. Too late. He kicked the door shut, curtains drawn. Sunlight locked outside. Inside was bright because he glowed, because I laughed, because, finally, we truly belonged. Not contract, not revenge, not twist of fate. Choice. Mutual, unshakable, forever. Thanks for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? If you liked the video, please like and share with friends. We look forward to your comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.
My fiancé of 5 years blocked me the night before our wedding. Then he posted a rant on Instagram. Finally rid of that nouveau riche fiancé. Every minute with her was an insult. Now I'm the rightful heir of the Hawthorne family. Nouveau riche isn't good enough for me. Hope she finally gets a clue and calls off the wedding. Dad texted me the screenshot and asked if I was devastated. I stared at the demand that I cancel the wedding and burst out laughing. Devastated? Why would I be devastated? I was finally dumping this idiot. He probably didn't realize the only reason he'd become the Hawthorne heir was that he was engaged to me. Since he found that humiliating, I'd oblige him tomorrow. Let's see if he can handle the fallout. But before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us where you're listening. When Dad handed me his phone, the screen showed his WhatsApp chat with Derek's aunt. She'd sent a screenshot and one line. "Victor, what on earth is this?" It was Derek's Instagram post. I read it so many times I could recite it from memory. Finally rid of that nouveau riche fiancé. Every minute with her was an insult. Now I'm the rightful heir of the Hawthorne family. Nouveau riche isn't good enough for me. Hope she finally gets a clue and calls off the wedding. Dad watched me cautiously. "Honey, are you?" He didn't finish because I laughed. Not a bitter laugh, not a pained laugh, an honest-to-God can't-help-it laugh. Dad froze. He'd probably expected me to cry, smash something, or race over to confront Derek. After all, tomorrow was the wedding. The gown still hung in my closet, the invitations mailed 3 days ago, the grand's deposit long paid. But I couldn't help it. "Derek, you moron. You probably don't realize you're only the rightful heir, because you got engaged to me. The Hawthorns are in real estate. They were hot 10 years ago but have tanked for the last 5. What does Dad do? He started hauling crates on a bike, sold produce, opened a building supply empire, then expanded into logistics and e-commerce, turning into the nouveau riche everyone sneers at. 5 years ago, the Hawthorns were almost bankrupt. Dad injected capital on one condition. I get engaged to Derek, and Derek becomes the designated heir. Everyone in that family knew, Derek included. He'd just chosen to forget. Devastated, I handed the phone back. Why would I be? I'm finally canceling on this clown. Dad was silent a beat. So tomorrow? I'm still leaving the house, I said. Just not for the altar. I'm going to the Hawthorne estate. His eyes lit up, then dimmed with worry. You sure? Positive. I stood and headed for my room. Oh, and Dad, have attorney Zhang meet us there at 9. We'll arrive at 10. Behind me he dialed, barely hiding his glee. Zhang, free tomorrow? Got a little project. I stepped into my walk-in closet and looked at the gown. Ivory satin, off-the-shoulder neckline, scattered seed pearls on the train. Took 3 fittings to choose it. The planner said I looked like a princess. Princess. I touched the cool, silky fabric, then lifted the dress off the hook, folded it carefully, and slipped it back into its garment bag. Tomorrow it won't be needed. No matter, it's beautiful. There'll be another chance. Just not with Derek. With someone who actually sees me. At 9:55 the next morning my car stopped in front of the Hawthorne estate. The pre-war mansion, once a tycoon's showpiece, later bought by Derek's grandfather, was the family's last scrap of dignity. Valuable, sure, but they're too cash-strapped to fix even the leaky roof. Half the ivy on the facade is dead, the iron gate rusted. Poetic, really. Attorney Sarah was already waiting. He nodded as I stepped out. Everything in there? I asked. All set. He tapped his briefcase. Breach of courtship agreement, plus? He paused, but I knew. The side agreement Dad had insisted on. If Derek gravely damaged the relationship, the Hawthorns had 30 days to repay the loan and transfer the mansion's title as penalty. Dad's safety net. He'd said, "Sweetheart, you never know what's in people's hearts, keep an exit." I'd thought he was paranoid. Guess the old fox was right. At the door I heard voices. "Derek, what the hell did you do?" Richard's roar carried through the wood. I just posted on Instagram." Derek sounded small and wronged. "Instagram? Do you know how that's spreading?" Chin just called. "If we don't fix this, their consortium pulls its funding." "Have you lost your mind?" "Dad, calm down, Rowan." "Rowan? Scarlett's family? Their daughter's getting married next month. Why would she want you?" "But I'm the heir." "The heir?" Richard's voice cracked, then cut off like someone squeezed his throat. I straightened my jacket and rang the bell. The housekeeper opened it. Her expression looked like a spilled paint tray. "Miss Jordan, Taylor, Evelyn." I brushed past her into the living room, nodding at Richard and his wife. "And Derek." All 3 froze. Derek stood by the sofa in wrinkled pajamas, hair a mess, purple crescents under his eyes. Panic flickered across his face, then false bravado. What are you doing here? I told you to call it off. Exactly. I'm here to cancel. I smiled, took the folder from Attorney Zhang, and set it on the coffee table. Breach of courtship agreement, just sign. Richard's complexion went ash gray. Evelyn opened her mouth, then shut it. Derek bounced over, scanned the page, and sneered. Fine, break up. But don't think you can milk us. Pay back the investment? Hand over the house? Dream on. Derek, Richard barked. I looked at him, and suddenly it was hilarious. 5 years. I'd spent 5 years with this man. How had I never noticed he was this stupid? Derek, I said, slowing my pace as if explaining something to a child. When you posted that Instagram story, did it ever cross your mind that the only reason you're still the heir is because my family is engaged to yours? He blinked, stunned. My father's bridge loan came with one condition. You remain the heir and shoulder the Hawthorne burden, I continued. It wasn't because you're capable, not because you're exceptional. Only because you were my fiancé. Does that logic compute? Color drained from Derek's face, then surged back. You trash me as nouveau riche on Instagram and tell me to call off the wedding, I said, tapping the agreement. So I obliged. Engagement over. With no engagement, the loan's writer self-destructs. Under the addendum, you have 30 days to repay principal, and the Hawthorne estate title reverts to us. Any questions? Impossible. Derek's voice cracked. That's our ancestral home. Why should you get it? Because you signed. Attorney Zhang cut in, calm as ever. He flipped to the last page. Your signature. Your father's as guarantor. Need me to spell out the legal force? Derek's complexion ran from scarlet to chalk to green. He spun toward his father. Dad, what is this? Why didn't you warn me? Richard ignored him, eyes on me, voice gravelly. Jamie, could we? Taylor. I broke in. No offense, but I knew your numbers 5 years ago. Dad pumped in that money for one reason. My happiness. I liked Derek, so he bailed you out. Now Derek finds me embarrassing and wants out. Am I supposed to beg? Richard's lips moved. Nothing came out. Evelyn dabbed her eyes. Jamie, Derek just had a moment. I made him delete the post. Don't take it to heart. Evelyn, it isn't a moment. I looked at her. If he truly thought I wasn't good enough and told me to my face, I'd call that courage. Instead, he hides behind a screen, telling me to know my place. That's not my bruised ego. You own the fallout. She cried harder. Derek stood like a post, his face a palette of rage, bewilderment, and dread, almost comical. I turned back to Richard. Taylor, read the papers at your leisure. Sign within 3 days or we go to court, same outcome. Oh, I remembered. Tomorrow's wedding is off. I'll cancel the grand. Send a group text so your guests don't drive out for nothing. I walked out. At the door, Derek shrieked. Scarlett, you planned this, didn't you? You came to watch me crash. I paused and glanced back. He stood in the middle of the room, face flushed, eyes glassy, pitiful and pathetic. Derek, I said, when you hit share, did you picture me reading it? He choked. No, you didn't. I answered for him. You never considered my feelings. You only savored dumping the nouveau riche girl, so you could chase your next rung. Now the bill's due and you blame me for being prepared. Can you own one thing for once? His mouth trembled, no sound. I looked away and stepped outside. The autumn sun was perfect, sky absurdly blue. I drew a deep breath on the Hawthorne estate steps. 5 years. 5 years for this moment. Worth it? My heart replied, worth it. On the drive, Dad called. Sweetheart, how'd it go? Papers delivered. 3-day deadline, I said. A 2-second silence, then. Richard just rang me. What did he want? Begs you and Derek to talk it over. Says Derek's home bawling, knows he messed up. I stopped at a red light. Dad, your take. My take. He chuckled, half tender. I think my girl got screwed over. Now Derek's sorry? Funny time to grow a conscience. When he posted that garbage, where was his foresight? If he'd dumped you face to face, I'd respect him an inch. Instead he pulls this stunt and crawls back. Kid's not worth it. My nose stung. Dad. Enough mush, he cut in. Dinner tonight, Mom's making dumplings. Oh, I'll have Zhang email the appraisal on the estate, see what it's worth. I laughed despite myself. That's Dad, wraps comfort in spreadsheets. At home, Mom was indeed folding dumplings, leek and egg filling, my favorite. Flour on her hands, she hugged me at the door, soft and warm, smelling of dough and scallions. Honey, she patted my back. He's not worth chasing. I mumbled agreement into her shoulder. Go wash up, almost ready, she said, returning to her tray of tidy little white geese. I sat watching after I'd dried my hands. Mom, what made you fall for Dad? Without missing a beat, he chased me. Fresh off the farm, peddling produce from a tricycle, He'd leave free scallions on Grandma's steps. She finally said, "Solid guy, pick him. You weren't put off by the nouveau riche thing?" She glanced up. "Your father earned every cent. What's shameful in that?" Snobs sneer because they're jealous. Remember, some people, helpless themselves, can't stand others succeeding. They call it class. It's envy. Saw that flaw in Derek long ago. Don't you dwell on it. I stayed quiet, she added, and don't call those 5 years a waste. Without them, how would you know his true colors? Better now than after vows and babies. Walk away today, you're free. Married with children, escape gets messy. As she spoke, she finished folding another dumpling in her hand. I looked at her and suddenly felt the knot in my chest begin to loosen. That night, while we ate dumplings, Dad brought up the Hawthorns. "Richard just called again," he said. "Claims Derek's really sorry now. They're willing to transfer the estate and scrape together the bridge loan, but they want to know if we can keep it out of the papers. Tell the world it was an amicable split." I speared a dumpling. "He's dreaming." "That's what I thought." Dad nodded. But I didn't shut the door. I told him I'd ask you. "Dad," I said, setting down my chopsticks, "I'm not out for blood." But when he posted that Instagram story, he didn't leave me a shred of dignity. Why should I return the favor? Dad gave a single nod. Message received. Mom cut in from the side. "Is that boy Derek full of regret now?" "Regret what?" Dad snorted. "Regret his bad math?" If he'd known the ancestral pile would land on the chopping block, he'd never have hit send. His remorse isn't about hurting our daughter. It's about hurting himself. That kind doesn't deserve sympathy. I stared at Dad. Today everything he said made perfect sense. Maybe the dumplings were just that good. Maybe my mood had lifted, but I polished off 2 bowls. After dinner I went to my room and opened my phone. That screenshot had already metastasized across Instagram. Friends reposting it with strings of shocked emojis, others sliding into my DMs, a few brazen enough to call, voices vibrating with gossip. I answered none of them. Except one. It was from my college roommate, Sam. She texted, "Scarlett, if you need anything, holler." We'd been tight at university. She'd moved abroad afterward and contact had thinned. Still, those few words felt like a warm blanket. I replied, "Casey, I'm okay for now." She shot back, "Good. I'm flying home next month, dinner on me." I said yes. Phone down, I gazed out at the night and thought, life after calling off a wedding isn't as terrifying as I'd feared. 3 days later the Hawthorns signed. Richard delivered the settlement himself. Derek wasn't allowed to come. Standing in our living room, Richard looked 10 years older, his hair suddenly salt and pepper. "Jamie, my family wronged you," he rasped. "I failed to raise that boy right. Be the bigger person, don't hold his stupidity against him." I stayed silent. Dad spoke beside me. "Taylor, this ends today. Money and property will go through Attorney Zhang. From here on, our families walk separate roads." Richard nodded and turned. At the door he paused. "Jamie, may I ask one thing?" "Go ahead." "If Derek hadn't posted that story, would you have married him?" I considered, then answered honestly, "Yes." He exhaled and left without another word. Once the door shut, Dad asked, "Without that post, you really would have gone through with it?" "Yes," I said. "But I'd have filed for divorce soon enough." Dad raised an eyebrow. "Dad, I wasn't blind these 5 years." He looks down on us, sneers at New Money Blood, feels hitched beneath him. I've always known. I kept telling myself marriage would fix it, that he'd learn life is lived, not compared. I paused. Now I get it. Some people never learn. Dad squeezed my shoulder and said nothing. That night I sat alone scrolling through 5 years of texts with Derek. Sweet nothings at the start, tepid small talk in the middle, perfunctory dots at the end. 1,800 plus days compressed into a flick of my thumb. I stopped at the screenshot of his infamous post. I stared, then pressed delete, not just the image, the entire thread. System prompt. "This cannot be undone, confirm?" I tapped confirm. The screen went blank. I set the phone down, collapsed on the bed, and stared at the ceiling. Hollow yet not quite empty, like a long block drain had finally cleared. A month later the deed was transferred, and the bridge loan wired back. Dad asked what I wanted to do with the old Hawthorn Manor. "Keep it for now," I said. "It's their ancestral home. They'll want it back the second they have cash. When they come knocking, I'll be here." Dad glanced at me. "You think they'll ever be liquid again?" "Avery's a lost cause," I said. "But Richard's still got hustle. Family baggage weighs him down, yet give him a year or two, and he'll try to buy the house back." Dad shrugged. "Your call." That afternoon I drove to the estate. New lock, key in my pocket. Leaves carpeted the yard, crunching beneath my heels. Inside, the boards groaned, wallpaper yellowed with age, but the grandeur lingered, soaring ceilings, carved banisters, stained glass windows hinting at old splendor. I stood in the drawing room, replaying Derek's flushed face, eyes glassy with self-pity and desperation. I'd noticed his tears that day. He was sorry he'd botched the scheme, not sorry he'd hurt me. I don't hate him, I don't pity him. It's stranger. This man I thought I knew is basically a stranger. 5 years. And the Derek I understood was only the sliver he let me see. The rest, his disdain, resentment, arithmetic, I'd pretended away. Turns out the real fool might have been me. I stayed until sunset, then locked up. At the gate I paused, looking back. Evening light fractured through the stained glass, painting the porch in colored shards. Someday I thought I might sell it back to them, but not today. Today it's mine. Another month and Sam landed. We met at a cafe downtown. She'd slimmed down but greeted me with the same boisterous grin. "Scarlett." She hugged me hard. "You okay?" That post had me fuming. The nerve of Derek. How does he even live with himself? I smiled. Ancient history. She looked at me, a hint of inquiry in her eyes. "It's really over." "Really?" I said. "I'm not lying to you." She stared at me for a few seconds, then nodded. "All right, I believe you. So, what are you planning now?" "What do you mean, planning?" "I mean," she weighed her words, "your love life." I lifted my coffee and took a sip. "None for now. Let me get my own life in order first." She nodded and didn't press further. We talked the whole afternoon, about college, about the years she'd spent abroad, about mutual friends. Only when dusk was falling did we ask for the check and leave. Outside the cafe, a light rain was coming down. Sam opened her umbrella and said suddenly, "Scarlett, you know half our class used to envy you." "Envy me?" "Yeah. They thought you were lucky, landing a guy like Derek, handsome, rich, some kind of blue blood prince." She smiled. "But I never did." "Why not?" "Because it felt like you weren't yourself anymore." She looked at me. "Back in college you were so confident. You said whatever you wanted, did whatever you wanted. After you started dating Derek, it was like you were always giving in." I said nothing. She went on. "I'm not saying Derek's bad. But Scarlett, if one person keeps compromising in a relationship, sooner or later it breaks." The rain pattered, a soft drumming on the umbrella. Standing beneath it, I felt something inside me slowly loosen. "Sam," I said, "KCU." She blinked, then laughed. "Thanks for what?" "I'm your friend." Friend. On that drizzly evening the word felt warmer than ever. Days slipped by. I threw myself back into work, reconnected with friends I'd neglected while dating, and started practicing the piano I'd abandoned years earlier. On weekends I went grocery shopping with Mom. She haggled over every head of lettuce while I carried the bags and listened to her chat with the vendors. "This is my daughter," she'd announce. "Still single. If you know anyone suitable, send them our way." I'd roll my eyes. "Mom, what? Am I wrong?" The vegetable seller would grin, flashing a mouthful of white teeth. "Your girl's a beauty. Got a photo?" "My nephew works at the bank." Before I knew it, I'd added WhatsApp contacts, phone numbers, every possible connection. Walking home, Mom beamed. "See? Resources." I eyed her helplessly. "You're that eager to marry me off." "What's the rush?" she retorted. "I just want you to meet people. If one clicks, great. If not, we're not losing anything." She strode ahead, bags swaying, her frame a little shorter than I remembered. I realized Mom was aging. Silver threads at her temples, fine lines at her eyes, the slight stoop in her walk. Things I'd never noticed before. I quickened my pace, caught up, and took the basket from her hand. "Mom, let me carry that." She glanced at me and smiled. Just before Spring Festival, I heard news of Derek. He'd left town, reportedly to start a business with a college buddy whose family had deep pockets and was willing to bankroll him. "Richard told me," Dad mentioned over dinner. "He asked how you were doing." I picked up a bite of food. "What did you say?" "Said you were better than ever," Dad answered with a grin. "Told him my daughter is gorgeous and capable, and suitors are lined up around the block." Mom chimed in. "That young Lee from downstairs keeps visiting. Does he have a crush on you?" I almost choked. "Mom, Lee's 23. So what? A 3-year difference means you bring him a gold brick." I gave up debating. After dinner, I stood on the balcony watching the city lights. Fireworks crackled somewhere in the distance. New Year was almost here. Exactly a year ago, I'd been hunched over a cafe table with Derek, checking off wedding plans. Which hotel, when to shoot the photos, where to honeymoon. He frowned at every item, as though each were a headache. I'd told myself it was stress. Things would settle once we married. Now I knew it wasn't stress, it was indifference. His heart had never been in it. I exhaled a plume of white mist and watched it dissolve. No blame on him, none on me. We simply weren't meant to be. On New Year's Day, I went to Sam's to exchange greetings. She lived in a new East Side complex. The apartment was small but cozy. Her parents fussed over me. "Jamie, sit, have candy, have nuts." I accepted an armload of sweets and laughed my thanks. Sam watched, eyes curving into crescents. Her mother kept my hand captive, firing questions about work, life, romance. When I couldn't parry anymore, I shot Sam a silent plea. "Sam," Ellis jumped up. "Mom, we're going for a walk." "Back soon." "Walk." "It's freezing." Sam had already pulled me out the door. The complex was quiet. Sporadic kids set off firecrackers. Sam linked her arm through mine and strolled. "Sorry about Mom." "Don't mind her." "I don't," I said. "It's festive." Sam chuckled. "Your mindset has really changed." "Has it?" "Yeah. The old you would have been annoyed. You'd have found it tiresome." I thought about it. She was right. Back when I was with Derek, I was constantly tense, terrified that one wrong word or gesture would confirm to him or his family that I was just some nouveau riche girl. Now I didn't need to please anyone. I belonged to myself. "Sam," I said, "KCU." "Again?" "For what?" "For what you said that day." "What day?" "The day you told me I wasn't myself anymore." Sam was silent a moment, then said softly, "Scarlett," saying that was a gamble. "I was afraid you'd get upset." "I didn't. It made me think. And I realized you were right. When I was with Derek, I was constantly yielding, tolerating, pretending not to care. I thought if I gave enough, I'd earn his heart. But I paused. Hearts aren't won by giving in." Sam said nothing. She only squeezed my hand. We kept walking. Firecrackers crackled nonstop, the smell of gunpowder drifting through the air. "Scarlett," Sam said suddenly, "you're going to meet someone better." I smiled. "I think so too." In the spring, I received a letter. It was from Derek, handwritten, mailed to my office. It wasn't long. The gist was an apology. He said he'd been impulsive, childish, and had hurt me. Only later did he realize how completely wrong he'd been. He said he didn't deserve me, and hoped I would find someone who truly treasured me. At the end he wrote, "The Hawthorne estate is the life's work of generations of my family. My father said that if you're willing to sell, we'll find a way to buy it back. If you're not, that's understandable. We have no right to ask for anything." I finished the letter and was silent for a long time. Then I folded it, put it in a drawer, and never wrote back or called. There was no need. One Saturday in May, I went to a gallery opening. Sam's friend had organized it, and she dragged me along, insisting I needed some artistic refinement. The gallery was small and quiet, only a handful of visitors. I trailed after Sam from canvas to canvas. Most I didn't understand, but a few I thought quite beautiful. At the final painting I stopped. It was huge, covering an entire wall, a seascape but not an ordinary one. This was the sea on the verge of a storm, sky pressing low, clouds churning, waves rearing. Yet far in the distance a sliver of light pierced the gap in the clouds and spilled across the water, glittering. I stood there a long while. Sam drifted to my side and asked softly, "You like it?" I said. "I do. Want to buy it?" I blinked. "It's for sale." "Yup, the show's also a sale." She pointed to the tag. "See? Price is right there." I glanced, several zeros trailed the number. "Forget it," I shook my head. "Too expensive." Sam laughed. "Nothing wrong with looking." As we turned to leave, a voice beside us said, "This piece is called The Light." I looked over. A young man in a white shirt and glasses, mild-mannered, one of the staff who'd handed us brochures earlier. "The artist says no matter how fierce the storm, the light always comes," he explained. I nodded. "Beautiful meaning." "If you like it," he hesitated. I could ask the artist whether he'd consider a discount. I was a little surprised, but before I could answer, Sam chimed in. "Why so generous?" The guy flushed crimson and stammered. She stared at it so long, she must really love it." I couldn't help laughing. Sam guffawed even louder. He grew flustered, hands unsure where to go. "Thanks for the offer," I told him. "But I'm only browsing today. If I still want it later, I'll come find you." He nodded, cheeks red, and walked off. Sam nudged me. "Nice guy." "Nice how?" "Thin-skinned, shy, that type's reliable." "Look at Derek. Slick tongue, pretty words, look what he delivered." "A quiet, honest one's the safer bet." I rolled my eyes. "Matchmaking already?" "I'm screening for you," she declared. "I read people." I ignored her and moved on to the next painting, but The Light stayed in my mind. That autumn my father did something. He bought the Hawthorne estate back and returned it to Richard. Not a sale, a purchase. He owned a tract on the outskirts that Richard wanted for a project. After rounds of negotiation, they struck a deal. Dad transferred the land to Richard. Richard used the money to buy back the ancestral house. Neither side lost. But the old estate was finally back in Hawthorne hands. On signing day, Richard's eyes were red. He held my father's hand, speechless for a long time. Dad patted his shoulder. Old Richard, decades of friendship. Let it be behind us. Richard nodded, voice thick. Old Victor KCU. Dad smiled. Don't thank me, my daughter's idea. She said the house is your family's root. It should go back. Richard turned to me, lips parted as if to speak. I shook my head gently. Taylor, nothing needs saying. It ends here. He looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. After Richard left, Dad asked, Feel better? I considered. All right. All right, meaning? Meaning. I gazed at the autumn sky, high and blue with pale clouds. It's really over. Dad nodded and said no more. That night I sat alone on the balcony, watching distant lights. My phone buzzed, a message from Sam. Heard you gave the estate back to the Hawthorns? I replied, Yep. She sent a string of shocked emojis then. Scarlett, you're too magnanimous. I smiled at the screen and answered, Not magnanimous, just done. Done. Done means I won't let it haunt me anymore. Giving it back draws the final period. Sam was quiet a moment then. Okay, your call. Hey, free Saturday? That gallery's new show opens. The shy guy asked if you might come. I blinked, then laughed despite myself. What did he say exactly? He beat around the bush. Did the lady leave her contact? She seemed to love that painting. Followed by a flurry of cheeky emojis. He's definitely interested. I stared at the screen, then typed, Then let's go Saturday? Emery. On it. I'll arrange. I set the phone down, still looking at the lights, and felt an unexpected calm. A breeze carried the cool, clear scent of autumn, not cold at all. The jasmine on the balcony had bloomed. Its fragrance drifted faint and elusive. I hummed a little tune I'd made up. No words, just a melody. 5 years, a farcical wedding, a hasty broken engagement. Then a full year of emptiness, repair, rebuilding. Now a new story seems about to begin. I don't know what the shy young man will be like, nor where the future leads. But that's all right. I have time, patience, courage. And I have the light. It tells me. However violent the storm, the light always returns. Thank you for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? If you liked the video, please like and share with friends. We look forward to your comments and don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time.
It was our wedding anniversary. My husband turned away to brew a cup of brown sugar tonic for his little childhood friend suffering from period cramps. I asked for a divorce right then, and he snapped, Luna and I grew up together. What's wrong with me being nice to her? The housekeeper, my own mother, joined the taunt. Luna is Sterling's priceless jewel, not some backward street rat you can compare yourself to. You're nothing but a housekeeper's daughter. Marrying into Sterling is a blessing, stop being ungrateful. Luna stepped in front of me, eyes shimmering. Serena, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were this petty over a cup of brown sugar tonic. I'll just leave, then. But Adrian blocked her. The one who should leave is this outsider. They pushed me out the gate into a 104-degree swelter. Over the roar of the air conditioning unit I heard my mother tell Luna, gave you her life so you'd have everything, sweetheart. And now we finally got it. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us where you're listening in the comments. After standing in that furnace for an hour, I was slick with sweat. Adrian opened the door, looking down his nose. Luna says she was wrong. Come back inside. The cold blast felt like ice needles. I shivered. The candlelit dinner on the table was a battlefield of smeared plates and melted wax. Tears blurred my vision. Adrian never spared me a glance. He took a seat next to Luna. He crossed his legs. Luna's periods are brutal, she needs me. My feverish brain couldn't process fast enough. He muttered, the doctor says only top-grade sperm can ease her pain. I'm just going to give her a kid. I'm not divorcing you. Sterile since the day I shoved him away from a speeding car, I understood instantly. My mind went white. He had knelt at my hospital bed, clutching my hands, sobbing, Serena, I swear on my life I'll never hurt you. If I do, let me die a wretched, childless death. I thought such a poisonous oath would guard my happiness. I forgot hearts rot with time. I stared at the man I no longer knew. Adrian, remember that curse? Aren't you afraid it will come for you? Rage flashed across his face. You can't get pregnant, so no one else is allowed to. I'm only giving Luna a baby, not a wedding. Must you ruin our anniversary? I laughed bitterly. So you do remember what today is, while you were spooning sugar into her drink. In 6 years of marriage, Luna had crashed every anniversary. She always cut the first slice. At dinner, I wasn't allowed to lift my fork until she had tasted each dish. His patience snapped. Divorce over a cup of sugar? I've spoiled you too much. I gave a cold chuckle. Weren't you about to impregnate her? Before Adrian answered, Luna drifted over, tears trembling. Serena, I know you hate me. I shouldn't have drunk it. Here, it's yours. The next instant the scalding tonic splashed my arm, bubbles of skin rising. Luna, what are you doing? A simple question, yet Adrian bristled. He pulled her close. She's just a kid, spilled by accident. Can't you act like a gracious sister-in-law? A kid. I snorted. A 30-year-old child? Cornered, he still sided with her. If you insist on making a scene, there's nothing I can do. As I opened my mouth, my mother shoved me down. She fell to her knees in front of him. Sam, I spoiled this girl. She's an ill-bred street rat, don't let her nonsense upset you. Watching her bow like a beggar, helplessness swallowed me. Mom, why kneel to him? I'm the one who's been wronged. But she turned on me. Serena, quit being shameless. Sterling accepted you, show some gratitude. She knocked her forehead against the marble again and again, listing my faults. Body shaking, I stood. Fine. Then I want the divorce. Silence clamped the room. Adrian's eyes pinned me. So this is how a sister-in-law behaves. Luna finally visits and you have to poison the day. Finally, I almost laughed at the word. Born a Vance heiress, Luna grew up in Sterling, calling it home because Adrian let her. His indulgence taught her the real wife was disposable. When I stayed silent, he added, since that's how it is, let's divorce. I'd love to watch how far you fall without me. 6 years as Sterling felt more like 6 years as head maid. I never tasted the privileges. I scrubbed the 30-room mansion myself so mother wouldn't strain. Because Adrian was allergic to dust, I knelt on the floor 5 hours a day. Bed sheets were hand-washed daily. I never complained, certain love lay beneath the labor. Today the mask dropped, I was hollow. Time to end the farce. Before I could answer, mother's palm cracked across my cheek. The skin puffed crimson. You ungrateful brat. Without this marriage, who pays his medical bills? You want your father to die in that hospital. I pictured Thomas tangled in tubes, heart-shredding. Since childhood Margaret had favored others. I thought marriage would earn her affection. Instead, she mothers Luna. As I hesitated, the broom handle whipped my kneecap. Pain exploded, I dropped. Kneel. Kowtow to Sam and Jamie and apologize. I lifted tear-blurred eyes to the man who had shared my pillow 6 years. Adrian, do you agree with them? He glanced away. Be a generous sister-in-law, say sorry to Luna. Each word was a blade sliding between my ribs. At last I learned that when heartbreak peaks, nerves die. 3 pairs of eyes drilled into me while Luna's lips curved. I clenched my fists, remembering Dad's rasp. We're poor, but we've got pride. Nails sliced crescents into my palms. I inhaled. Then I'll sell my blood to pay for him. I'd thought the matter would die there, but it only enraged Margaret. Serena, have you lost your mind? Your father still needs money to stay alive, this is how you repay him? The next second, her true colors showed. She threw herself to the floor, wailing and thrashing like a toddler. I raised an ungrateful brat. She'd rather watch her own father die in agony than apologize to anyone. Ancestors, I've failed you. I've failed the Vance family. With that, she fainted. Watching her collapse, I felt everything inside me shut down. Thomas lay helpless in his hospital bed, and Margaret was my last living relative. My breath hitched, my mind tangled into knots. I clutched her hand, begging, but her stubbornness never yielded. Good girl, just kowtow and apologize to Jamie. Mom and Dad are useless, we can't protect you. Marrying into Sterling is your own accomplishment. Don't torch the bridge you crossed. She gripped both my hands, leaving me no escape. I'm doing this for you. Hurry, kneel and say sorry to Jamie. While I hesitated, Luna threaded her arm through Adrian's. Adrian, sis didn't mean to pick on me. I should probably leave. Please don't be angry with her on my account. Anyone with eyes could see Luna's cheap trick, everyone except Adrian. He pulled her tight against him. She'll apologize. I've clearly spoiled her. If we let her off today, she'll keep harassing you later. At that moment my heart plunged into an abyss. Tears blurred my sight. Meeting Adrian's icy stare, I laughed at myself. Then I dropped to both knees. Jamie, I was wrong. I apologize. My forehead cracked against the hardwood, the sound echoing through the living room. Adrian's brows knit, and for an instant I thought I saw reluctance in his eyes, then I felt ridiculous. A man this cold would never feel pity. I was simply starved for love, searching for affection from a stranger who shared none of my blood. He looked down at me. If you'd done this sooner, none of this would have happened. He extended a hand, expecting me to take it. I shifted toward him, voice flat. Please, Sterling, after 6 years of marriage, don't cut off my father's medical bills. I'm sorry. I bent again and knocked my head to the floor in front of him. The gesture startled him. He jerked his hand away. Anger flashed across his face. I knew you'd never learn. Since you love kneeling, stay there all night. He leaned in, pinching my chin, veins bulging on the back of his hand. Kneel till sunrise and I'll pay Thomas's bills. He knew my father was my final red line, and he wielded it without mercy. Fine. I'll kneel. At my answer, the strength drained from his fingers. Straightening, he gave a cold laugh. You'll trade your dignity for cash, just like that. But dignity had been a stranger to me these 6 years. Every conflict ended with my surrender. Tears slid off my lashes. I lifted my face. Isn't this exactly what you wanted? You're insane. With that, Adrian left with Luna, never looking back. And Margaret, who'd been howling minutes ago, rose as if nothing had happened. She sighed and stroked my hair gently. Sweetheart, Mom's useless, I can't help you. Don't quarrel with Sterling. Your dad's life is still in your hands. I knew it wasn't comfort, it was a warning. What I couldn't grasp was why she always sided with Luna. I was her real daughter. Even if it was for Thomas's sake, she should be currying favor with Adrian, not me. When I voiced the doubt, she scolded me. Who do you think you are? Jamie grew up with Adrian. Of course their bond runs deeper. Why would he blame her for an outsider like you? And anyway, your own belly failed you, don't pin that on anyone else. I never imagined such cruelty from my own mother. All my grievances surged at once. Mom, I can't have children because I saved Adrian, am I to blame for that too? She had no retort. Resorting to pity, she whimpered, Darling, I know you feel wronged, but Sterling has helped us all these years. They even hired me as a housekeeper. It's lowly work, yet they treat me well, good food, good pay. I almost laughed. No one harassed her because every chore she was given was done by me, her daughter. Realizing reason was pointless, I gave up. As I started to rise, she shoved me back down. Serena, Sterling ordered you to kneel all night, stay put. I smiled faintly. Adrian left with Luna, he won't be checking. She remained unmoved. He's still angry. Kneel obediently. Fearing I'd disobey, she patted my shoulder. For your father's sake, endure a little longer. But I'd endured humiliation for 6 years already, what was one more night? Tomorrow I'm going to see Thomas. That single sentence ignited her. No, you're not setting foot in the hospital. I stared, stunned. I haven't seen my father in 2 months. Why not? Seeing my resolve, she softened a fraction. You know our village superstition. When a father's gravely ill, only a son may keep bedside vigil. A daughter brings disaster. I'd heard the nonsense as a child, but it sounded even more absurd now. What did gender have to do with illness? I'll only peek through the door, I won't go in. Before the words faded, her slap landed. You want your father dead so you're free of the burden, is that it? Forget it. We raised you, you'll care for us till we die. Watching her disappear down the corridor, I finally broke, tears streaming until my vision blacked and I collapsed. I woke at 8 the next morning on the cold floor. Adrian, true to habit, had stayed out all night. In exchange, Luna spammed my phone with 99 short clips of them together. In every video, Adrian called her wifey. Red-dressed, she straddled his lap, all flirty innocence. Adrian, who's better, me or her? He flashed a fawning grin, cupping her face as though she were his priceless jewel. Of course you are. I'm done playing with her. Luna's eyes sparkled. But Serena lost her baby and her fertility, saving you. Don't you feel guilty at all? The moment the question hit me, my heart jumped into my throat again. I was dying to know what kind of answer would follow. Adrian let out a cold laugh. That stupid woman still doesn't realize I arranged the crash myself. How could I let some street rat taint the Sterling bloodline? He rubbed the tip of Luna's nose with tender affection. Only a real heiress like you deserves to bear my child, Adrian. The words exploded in my ears like thunder. Over the years Adrian had said plenty of hurtful things, but this one shoved me straight into the abyss. My hands shook uncontrollably as I begged myself to stay calm. Yet my heart felt sliced by 1,000 knives, and a wave of suffocation spread through me instantly. From the video, their voices kept coming. In that case, why did you marry her in the first place? Adrian's expression turned nostalgic. Back then she was a pure angel, everyone who saw her liked her. But now that she's lost her purity, she's worthless. When I heard that, I couldn't stay composed any longer. The phone slipped from my grip and crashed to the floor. It felt like hundreds of invisible hands were tearing me apart. I gulped air in huge mouthfuls, but the pain in my chest only sharpened. Why are you doing this to me? I screamed silently, my throat choked as if something were lodged inside. Back then, to marry me, Adrian had cut ties with his family without hesitation. A single "I miss you" from me, and he would travel thousands of miles to appear at my side. Only today did I understand that those miles weren't driven by love. Gas was just cheaper than hiring an escort. Trembling, my mind blank, I stumbled all the way to Adrian's company. I had meant to demand answers, but before I could step inside I overheard Margaret and Luna talking. Their conversation plunged me even deeper into darkness. "Mom, I'm your real daughter, why won't you make that bitch divorce Adrian?" Through the crack in the door I watched the scene within. Margaret clasped Luna's hands tightly, her gentleness something I had never been granted. "Silly girl, Adrian may despise that tramp now, but they've been husband and wife for 6 years. If you push too hard he'll lose respect for you. You have to wait until he utterly loathes her. Only then will the Sterling throne be secure for you." Yet Luna had waited 6 long years, from underage to adult. She was frantic to take my place. "But I'm afraid if we drag this out she'll play some dirty trick." Margaret smoothed Luna's hair, every stroke dripping with mother love. "Years ago I swapped you and Serena so you could live as the Vance heiress, free from worry. No matter what happens, Mommy will always stand on your side." Only then did I grasp why Margaret had never loved me. Turns out I was the true Vance heiress. My last psychological defense crumbled completely. I almost burst in to confront them, but Adrian arrived and blocked my way. Seeing my tear-streaked face, he pulled me into his arms. "Serena, what's wrong?" For a split second, meeting his anxious eyes, I actually felt loved. Too bad it was all an act. "Adrian, why are you doing this to me?" To my challenge he merely soothed. There, from now on I won't brew brown sugar tonic for Luna, all right?" Even now he thought my anger was about a cup of brown sugar tonic. Suddenly I laughed. Summoning my last ounce of strength, I pushed him away. "Adrian, let's get divorced." He only smiled lazily at the words. "It's been days and you're still sulking? You used to be so obedient, now your temper keeps flaring up." Adrian planted his hands on his hips. "I'm warning you, don't throw the word divorce around, one day I might take you seriously and actually sign." Staring into his playfully condescending eyes, I felt 6 years of love burn to ash. I drew a long breath to swallow the hurt. "I'm not joking. I want a divorce." Only when I spoke with iron firmness did Adrian realize I was serious. Yet he showed no wish to keep me, just contempt. Serena, don't push your luck. What makes you think you have the right to divorce me? True, what right did I have? From start to finish I'd been nothing but a pawn. Or more accurately, a dog he kept on a leash. I had no energy left to argue. As I turned to leave, Adrian seized my arm. Give me one reason for this divorce. I hadn't expected him to demand that. A reason? Wasn't it obvious? I gave a cold laugh. The reason is that every single anniversary of ours also features Luna. You'd rather believe Luna's slander than trust me. You even kicked me out of the house to stand for 3 hours in 100-degree heat. You forced me to kowtow and apologize to Luna. Scene after scene replayed in my mind like a movie. Every word felt like a whip lashing my heart. The pain throbbed without mercy. I had hoped Adrian might explain, but he only glared, furious. I knew it, you're jealous of Luna. I was too tired to argue. I gave a faint smile and walked away. Behind me he shouted, if you're so tough, go through with the divorce, otherwise I'll never respect you. Choking on tears and pain, I made my way to Riverdale. My father was my last solace. Yet when I stepped into the room, the bed was stripped bare, the sheets gone. I rushed out in panic. Doctor, where's my father? Your father. Bed 66, where did that patient go? I questioned them frantically, but the answer felt like a death sentence. Bed 66 passed away 2 months ago. As his daughter, how could you not know? The news froze me in place. Just a week ago Dad had spoken to me on the phone. Impossible. I denied wildly. Doctor, you must be mistaken, he was still in treatment. How could he die? Tears spilled down my cheeks as I desperately tried to prove it was fake. Then the patient from the next bed bustled out and shoved me irritably. Unprepared, I crashed into a table, my lower back slamming against the edge. The pain drew cold sweat across my forehead. Stop pretending. That old man could have been saved, but you relatives voluntarily gave him up. Never saw you at his bedside, and now that he's gone you put on this show? Tears glittered in the woman's own eyes as she spoke. Do you know your father kept calling your name before he died, yet you couldn't even be bothered to see him one last time? Her words left me completely stunned. How could I not want to see him? Ignoring the pain, I staggered toward her and asked urgently, Auntie, who told you this? She shook off my hand coldly. Your own mother said it. She told us you found your father a burden, refused to pay his medical bills, and were too disgusted to visit. She gave me a withering glance. Would your own mother lie about that? Right now I have no way to defend myself, and I suddenly don't know what the past 2 months of stubborn endurance were even for. In that instant I also understood why Mom had kept blocking me from seeing Dad. I knew my sky had caved in. My last backer was gone. After I bolted from the Riverdale lobby, my mind kept replaying Dad's sallow face and the agony illness had wrapped around him. I leaned against the burning hot wall, yet my heart was frozen solid. I wanted to cry, but the tears wouldn't come. Turns out when pain peaks, all you feel is numbness. I shuffled down the street like a zombie, layer upon layer of hatred stacking inside me. One day, these people will pay the full price. When I reached home, Adrian was on the sofa, eyes fixed on the wall clock. The moment he saw me, he shot up and stormed over. Look at the hour, you've forgotten the Sterling house rules, haven't you? I gave him a sidelong glance. The house rule he referred to said I wasn't allowed outside after 9 at night. Once, I came home a mere 6 minutes late, and he threw me into the wine cellar punishment room for 3 full hours. No matter how I begged, he never softened. Ever since, every rainy day leaves my body aching. Deadpan, I checked the time and rasped, 9:30. So how long in the cellar tonight? At that, Adrian's expression turned a shade gentler. Serena, that's not what I meant. I'm worried about you. I almost laughed. Even now he's still trying to gaslight me. Without another word, I placed the divorce decree on the table. Sign it. I walk away with nothing. His brows crashed together. Serena, do you have to push things this far? I smiled faintly. I'm not the one who pushed. Seeing my iron resolve, Adrian instinctively tried to placate me. Serena, I know you're furious at Luna. I won't let her set foot in our home again, all right? When he reached to embrace me, I stepped back. You won't be able to do that. I thought he'd back off, but he clung on. I can. Adrian, love only you in this life. All I ever wanted was a child. I never wanted a divorce. If you truly hate Luna, I can have someone else bear your child. We'll register the baby under your name, and he'll call you Mom, okay? I stared at him in shock. How could those words come out of Adrian's mouth? In that instant I realized, the man I'd loved for 6 years is rotten to the core. I shook his hand off, ice cold. Forget it. Since you crave a child so badly, just divorce me and remarry. The overhead lights reflected in his frigid eyes. I won't divorce you. Before I could retort, my mother rushed in from the other side. She yanked me behind her and knelt to Adrian. Sam, my daughter is spoiled rotten. Please be the bigger person. I watched her plea with icy amusement. She seemed protective, but she was only fanning the flames. Her goal was to make Sam tire of me completely. She tugged my hand. Serena, apologize to Sam right now. I glared at her. No. This marriage ends today. The moment the words left my mouth, the corners of her lips curled up. The next second she turned shrew. You ungrateful brat. Your father is lying in a hospital bed, and you want him to die there. Before, the moment she invoked Dad, I'd swallow any grievance whole. Not this time. Enough. I wrenched my arm free. Dad is already dead, you killed him. Her face drained of color. Fearing exposure, she scrambled up and slapped me hard. Bastard. Don't spew nonsense. Adrian watched, suspicion igniting in his eyes. He knew my father had always been my Achilles heel, and I'd never joke about Dad's life. He turned to my mother. What's going on? Was Serena telling the truth? Timid by nature, Margaret stammered, unable to string a sentence together until Luna strolled in. Luna positioned herself as an avenging angel and pointed at me. Serena, how could you curse your own father? I tried to speak, but she cut me off. I know you think Vance is a burden, that you're embarrassed by his poverty, so you've wanted him gone. But he's still your real dad. A dog doesn't despise a poor master. How can you curse your own father? Adrian cleared his throat sternly. Luna, don't make reckless accusations. Luna lifted her chin. I have proof. She produced a pocket recorder. When will this old geezer drop dead? Every breath he takes burns my money, better dead sooner than later. If you ask me, pull his oxygen tube and be done so he stops dragging me down. As the tape played, bewilderment washed over me. The voice was unmistakably mine. That's not me, I never said that. I looked at Adrian. His face had turned to ice. I rushed to explain. No, that's not how it happened, I never. He shoved me away without a word, then called Riverdale on his phone. How is Alex? Alex? He passed hours ago. His daughter signed the do not resuscitate herself. Adrian ended the call instantly and strode toward me, fury crackling. Serena, what else have you got to say? Seeing the smug upturn of Margaret's and Luna's lips, I finally grasped it. They'd set the trap long ago, waiting for me to jump. If I swore I didn't do it, would you believe me? Clearly he wouldn't. Hearing his silence, I let out a cold laugh. Fine. I did it all, I killed him. The moment the words fell, his big hands clamped around my throat, his eyes venomous. Like a snake on prey. Serena, he was your flesh and blood, how dare you? His rage scorched. My neck felt ready to snap. With my last strength I rasped, only then could I escape your blackmail. Only then could I divorce you. At that, Adrian suddenly let go. He gave a sinister chuckle. Didn't know you were this vicious. I underestimated you. He picked up the divorce decree. A divorce. Agreed. He scrawled his name and flung the papers at my face. Happy now? I clutched the divorce decree, tears splashing onto it. Ecstatic. But there's one more document. I drew out another sheet, the disownment papers. I stepped in front of my mother. Sign it. From today, you and I are strangers. Margaret stared at the disownment papers, joy sparkling in her eyes. After all, losing me only means losing a burden. Fine, you little beast, daring to cut ties with me, then I'll give you exactly what you want. My mother spat the words while scrawling her signature. From this moment on, even if you drop dead in the gutter, I won't lift a finger. I let out a cold laugh. Remember what you said today, and please, don't ever come looking for me. With that, I turned and walked away, leaving behind the place that had left me covered in bruises, inside and out. I fled the country, burned through every dollar I had, tracked down the doctor who'd helped my mother swap the babies, and pulled the old CCTV footage. And the footage of the night they murdered my father. A year later, an invitation arrived from Adrian. The bride's name printed on the card was Luna. This time, I showed up in full armor. The moment she saw me, Luna's face twisted with impatience. Serena, you and Adrian are finished. Who invited you? The next second Adrian stepped out. I did. Luna moved to his side and hooked her arm through his. She's the ungrateful brat who killed her own father. Why let her anywhere near our wedding? Adrian's eyes locked on me. Because I want her to witness the happiness of our perfect little family. Only then did I notice the slight swell of Luna's belly. I'd braced myself, yet the sight still stabbed. I smiled. Congratulations. Enjoy it while it lasts. Before the words had settled, something heavy slammed into my back. The woman who'd given birth to me had struck me with her clutch. Your own life's a wreck and you dare curse my daughter. I frowned. Your daughter, she beamed, cradling Luna's arm. That's right. Luna's made me her godmother. So that was it. Is that so? I said flatly. Godmother or real mother? Luna's face darkened instantly. Stop your nonsense, of course it's godmother. I simply nodded. My mother's voice turned razor sharp. Listen, today is my daughter's big day. Make one wrong move and I swear you'll regret it. I almost looked forward to seeing what she'd do. Inside the chapel I chose a shadowed seat. Under the officiant's prompting, Adrian and Luna exchanged their I-dos. After the kiss, Luna nestled against Adrian. I have a present for you, honey. The lead wall blazed to life. But what rolled was the surveillance clip of Luna and Margaret yanking my father's oxygen tube and watching him suffocate. The brutal images sent a wave of gasps through the pews. And they call her the Vance heiress. Looks like an angel, heart colder than hell. Turn it off. Luna rushed the screen, jabbing at controls that refused to obey. In panic she smashed her fist through the glass, shards sprayed, guests recoiling. She stormed over. Serena, you set this up, this video is fake. My fists clenched, even now the liar wouldn't fold. I've already handed the original to the detectives. They'll decide what's real. Adrian stood frozen. He stepped to Luna. Explain, what is this? But denial was her only weapon. Adrian, no, she's framing me. I'm Sterling's future wife, why would I ever? Vance cut in, voice shaking. Luna is our daughter, she would never. I mounted the dais and lifted the. Luna is not the Vance heiress. A collective inhale swept the room. Luna snatched the MIC and hurled it to the floor. Lies. I am the Vance heiress, everyone knows I am. Her scream echoed off stone. I clapped once. The screen flickered to the maternity ward footage of a nurse swapping two newborns. Silence fell like a guillotine. Adrian's face drained. So you too are blood, that's why you pampered Luna and treated Serena like trash. Too little, too late. Vance stumbled forward, eyes bloodshot. 28 years. I raised another man's child. No, no, Luna dropped to her knees, clutching his trousers. Mom, Dad, I'm your real daughter, me. Her shrieks dissolved into sobs. Then the detectives arrived. Luna, Margaret, you're wanted for homicide. Please come with us. Color drained from their faces. I didn't kill anyone, Margaret collapsed, repeating the mantra. Luna flung herself at Adrian. Help me. Please, I'm carrying your baby. He jerked away, disgust raw. Live with the poison you brewed. Adrian, save me, the baby. Mom, Dad, you raised me for 28 years, don't abandon me. Her voice faded down the aisle until it was gone. Adrian approached, reaching for my hand. Serena, I didn't know she was capable of this. Let's undo the divorce, come home. I stared at him. The crash that left me barren, you arranged it, didn't you? His pupils flickered. How did you? I tapped play on my phone. The voice memo of Luna taunting me that night boomed through the speakers. Time to pay your debt. Serena, The officers cuffed him. You're under arrest for attempted murder and conspiracy. You have the right. He offered no resistance, only a broken whisper, I'm sorry. I didn't forgive. Vance rushed forward, gripping my hands as though afraid I'd vanish. My child, the pain you endured. He pulled me into an embrace that smelled of safety and tears, the first true fatherly hug I'd ever known. My own tears came in a torrent. Weeks later the verdict arrived, Luna and Margaret death sentence, Adrian 10 years. I lifted my face to the blazing sun and to the parents who finally stood beside me. From here on, my life will be nothing but brilliant. Thanks for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this tale? If it moved you, like and share, and drop your thoughts below. Subscribe for more stories. See you next time.
Her boyfriend's phone wallpaper had been switched to a selfie of him and new. In the photo the girl smiled sweetly, cuddling against his side, flashing a peace sign at the lens. When I confronted him, Chase answered with cool composure, "It's just a forfeit for losing a game. What's a wallpaper supposed to mean anyway?" But weeks passed and Chase never changed it back. He said, "Too lazy to bother, it's only a wallpaper." Later, Chase saw me acting intimately with another man. He stormed over, seething. I replied, unruffled, "Oh, I'm just more diligent than you. Switching boyfriends, that's all." Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. After my business trip I carried gifts straight to my boyfriend's office. He was in a meeting, and the freshly hired new barred me outside. She wore an ill-fitting suit, her young face stiff with self-importance. President Sterling is in conference, wait in the guest lounge. Before I'd even stepped away she dialed reception and scolded loudly. "Who told you to let strangers up? Don't you realize how critical Mr. Sterling's meeting is?" The desk phone was on speaker, the receptionist's answer rang clear. "Ms. Vance is Mr. Sterling's girlfriend, we're not allowed to stop her." New refused to back down. "So what if she's his girlfriend? She doesn't work here, she has no right to roam freely. Next time call me for clearance first. Let another random person in and you're both gone next month." Quite the power display. Chase had mentioned New 2 months earlier. She was a distant cousin on his mother's side, an 8th-degree relation. They'd begged his mother, who slipped her into Chase's firm. Fresh out of college, green and clueless, she threw her weight around, offending half the staff. Chase said it was equal parts irritating and hilarious. He'd never liked rash little girls, even in school. But to save his mother's face he kept her on for now. Soon his assistant would invent a reason to let her go. I paused, turned, and gave New a leisurely once-over. She lifted her chin, eyes glinting challenge. Ambition and hunger, naked and unabashed. There had always been girls like her circling Chase. I never worried, he handled them himself. No need for me to quarrel with a child. I ignored the guest lounge and walked straight into Chase's private retreat. A month on the road had drained me. I dropped onto the sofa and dozed off. When I woke, Chase was sitting beside me. Head propped on one hand, he watched me with a faint smile. As my eyes opened he reached to ruffle my hair. "Falling asleep wherever you go, silly girl." The instant the last 3 words left his lips we both froze. I'm not the coquettish type. He's never used cutsy nicknames on me. So? Cheating on me? Found a girl you like to call silly girl? I kept it light, joking. In my heart I didn't believe Chase would stray. We met in high school, dated through college, over a decade together. My family couldn't match his, so I outworked everyone. In high school I rarely slept before 1 a.m., I napped during breaks. After college I pulled endless overtime, sometimes dozing off in movie theaters on dates. Whenever that happened Chase would be heartbroken. He asked what he'd done wrong to leave me so insecure. He could give me every comfort, why did I keep driving myself? My insecurity never came from Chase. It came from the years when my stepmother's moods decided whether my allowance or tuition arrived. It came from the day Dad calmly told me to move out after graduation. My little brother needed his own room. Those memories taught me never to lean on anyone financially. Emotionally, though, I did lean on, trust, and cherish Chase. Chase withdrew his hand and gave a soft laugh. "Now you feel the threat? Afraid I'll cheat?" Arms folded, he looked utterly relaxed. "Good, maybe next you won't put work above me." Throughout our relationship, Chase had complained more than once. He said he always put me first, followed my college choice, then started a business in a city far from home just to stay with me, yet I kept relegating him behind grades and promotions. Even his proposal kept getting postponed. Wait for the full-time offer, the promotion. I've never been good at expressing feelings or sweet talk, but I saw and remembered every kind thing Chase did. Now my career is stable, I own a car and savings. The old anxieties are finally quiet. On the trip I'd passed a jeweler and bought matching bands. Who says proposals must come from the man? I clutched the velvet box in my palm, rehearsing words, heart thumping. Chase. Just as I spoke, Chase's WhatsApp ringtone chimed. The screen lit, and my heart plummeted. His wallpaper, once my photo, had become that selfie of him and new. Chase, actually cheating? I took the phone and unlocked it, same photo. The girl beaming sweetly, tucked against him, flashing a peace sign. Care to explain? I fought to keep my voice steady, pointing at the screen. Chase looked unruffled, not a flicker of panic. Looks like the wallpaper swap paid off, got you jealous. Relax, only a penalty for losing a game. He elaborated. 2 days earlier had been Mackenzie's birthday. His mother called especially, saying the girl was alone in a strange city, telling Chase to take her out. A few of her girlfriends joined dinner. They insisted on truth or dare. Chase lost and picked dare. Keep the selfie as wallpaper for a week. He shook his head, laughing wryly. Kids these days, loud and stubborn. They even do daily spot checks to make sure I don't swap back early. He didn't notice the fond grin that crept across his face or the tenderness in his voice when he spoke of Mackenzie, only that something in me had cooled. If it bothers you, I'll change it right now. I shook my head without thinking. Chase exhaled. I knew you'd understand. It's just a wallpaper, means nothing. I forced a stiff smile and slipped the ring box back into my bag. I figured he must have forgotten. Back in junior year, a pretty girl in his major chased him with the stubbornness of a heat-seeking missile. Even after he flat out told her he had a girlfriend, she refused to quit. She enrolled in the same electives, followed him into campus clubs. At the dining hall, she always picked the table 2 seats away. Eventually, Chase filed a restraining order. Humiliated, she took a medical leave and didn't set foot on campus again for almost a year. I remember scolding him for being heartless. He tilted his head, eyes soft and unwavering on mine. I could have looked the other way, he said. Let her flatter me, pump up my ego, enjoy the attention. But I know how little security you carry. Watching her orbit me would have chipped away at you. I didn't care about her feelings, only about giving you instant peace. So he had always known exactly where the boundary lay. This time he simply let the nuke cross it. Chase must have sensed the shift in the air. He pocketed his phone and smiled the old smile that once folded me in sunlight. You promised me a surprise on last night's call, he teased. Ready to show me? Staring at that familiar face, the same angled brows, the same dimple, I started bargaining with myself. Maybe he dotes on her like a kid sister. Maybe I'm the one overthinking. If I proposed right now, he'd say yes without blinking. Our dream house is bought, deed locked in my filing cabinet. The venue for the Riverdale wedding is booked. Even the designer of the wedding gown has the sketches ready. All that's missing is my nod. Yet what slipped out was, I got a promotion and a raise. Chase snorted a laugh, half proud, half resigned. Now that's a surprise. Let's celebrate, my treat. I pushed the food around my plate, the flavors never registered. To this day I can't recall what we ate. Only the constant ding of his WhatsApp. He scowled at every ping but still thumbed replies. Work? I asked. He hesitated. Yeah, work. The glass behind him mirrored his screen, a cartoon mini in a polka dot bow. Snooping isn't my style, but acid crept up my throat, bite by bite. I could feel the mortar crumbling between us. I faked an urgent call and left early. Chase's smile was thin, almost bitter. You don't really need me anymore, do you? Even then, I think he sensed the reverse was also true. The promotion buried me in late nights. Chase FaceTimed sometimes, or swung by with comfort food. Each time his phone erupted mid-sentence. Always the investors, he claimed. Sterling really did have a lighthouse project going live. Still, we lived in the same zip code and saw each other less than colleagues on different continents. The next time we met was his birthday. I reserved the private room at La Livido and spent an hour choosing his gift. He hurried in 30 minutes late, shrugging off his blazer. Silver Mickey Mouse cufflinks winked against his white shirt. Noticing my stare, he sighed. Kenzie threw a tantrum, said the look completed me. He laid the phone face down, as if that could smother the elephant between us. I skipped the small talk. Did you change the wallpaper? He flickered across his eyes before he glanced down. His brows snapped together. He tossed the phone like it burned him. It's a screen, Serena, pixels. You never praise what I do, but you police my damn wallpaper. I'm tired of being the only one rowing this boat. Watching him bristle, I stopped bargaining. 2 nights earlier Kenzie had texted, "You're pathetic, orphan baggage clinging to a rotting love." Maybe she was right. 13 years dismantled by a 3-month intern. I hid my trembling hands under the table. Let's just eat, Chase. I ordered everything you like. Shame softened his glare. I've been swamped. I'll swap it out tonight. I smiled, served him the last scallop, and remembered the rule I stated the day we became official. I don't believe in love. I believe in you. The day that belief expires, we'll share a final meal and I'll walk away clean. He had forgotten. I refused dessert, refused the ride home. On the sidewalk he hurled the gift box at my feet. Our entire story, I'm the only one fighting for the next chapter, he yelled. Even I get exhausted. Even I want to close the book. His back disappeared around the corner while I swallowed the scream clawing up my throat. He wasn't tired, he was done. He never called. I never texted. Adults don't require a formal exit. 3 months later he rang the bell, civilized, businesslike, to reclaim the riverfront penthouse key and deed. I should have returned these sooner, I apologized, holding the folder between us. You could have mailed them, he answered, voice flat. Silence stretched. I offered water more out of habit than hospitality. He took the hint and stood. The couch behind him, tufted gray velvet, was the first piece of furniture we chose together. On that couch we watched old thrillers, shared takeout, whispered forever. On that couch we once forgot the world existed. Right now we sit at opposite ends of the couch, as stiff and subdued as total strangers. Neither of us is used to this strange, awkward atmosphere. No need. I still have things to do. He stands to leave, hesitates, then stops again. Since I won't be living here for the time being, I'm thinking of renting the place too. Chase pauses, then continues. Kenzie's current apartment isn't in the safest neighborhood. Someone broke in last night. The poor kid was terrified. She's still. I cut him off and give a small nod. Sure, go ahead. After all, it's his house. Even if we were still together, the final say would be his. Besides, I'm no longer his girlfriend, so why should I care who he rents it to? My indifference seems to rile Chase. His brows draw together, his eyes darken as he stares at me. It's this couldn't care less attitude of yours, he says, that keeps pushing me toward someone else. Serena, you need to realize, love can be used up. I suddenly find it hilarious. 12 years ago, standing in the same spot, Chase once told me with complete sincerity, that his love was additive, it would only grow with time and never run out. I wonder, if I still loved him, how heart-shattering those words would sound right now. The beep of the electronic lock snaps me back. Bad timing, my place has another water shut-off today. Adrian's voice arrives before he does. Chase and I turn together to see Adrian bare-chested, a towel knotted at his waist, the perfect V of his abs on full display. His wet hair hangs low, half hiding those flirtatious peach blossom eyes. Droplets slide along the sharp line of his jaw and drip onto his chest. If Chase weren't here, this would be textbook wet body seduction. Who is he? Both men speak at once, one drenched in vinegar, the other in volcanic ash. Chase glares at me, accusation thick in his voice. Whoever he is, Serena, don't you owe me an explanation? Why is a half-naked man walking into your apartment? And how does he know your door code? His tone leaves me stunned. When he knocked earlier, coldly asking for the deed, he seemed to have accepted we were over. Now he looks like he's caught me in bed with someone else. I give a cold, lazy laugh. Oh, I'm just more industrious than you. I simply swapped boyfriends. Chase's face drains white, his chest heaving. I know the signs, an eruption is seconds away. I glance at Adrian, one look and he saunters to my side. A slender, defined arm slips naturally around my waist, tucking me against him. Baby, he's scary. And his body's SOSO. You've been dining on junk food, huh? Adrian side-eyes Chase, twirling a strand of my hair around his finger. Men always know which buttons to press. Usually unflappable, Chase now has fury written across his face. He strides forward, fist cocked, then freezes midair. Sweeping his gaze over Adrian, he lowers his hand, snorts. Serena, is this supposed to be fun? If you've got issues with me, spit them out. If Kenzie bothers you, we can sit and talk. But hiring some actor? That's just pathetic. The disappointment, and the disgust, in his eyes is plain. I almost understand him. Adrian's type used to be my no-fly zone. Too pretty, too flashy. Ever since school I've distrusted handsome, trendy guys. Blame my messed up childhood. I gravitated toward steady, safe things. After Chase and I split, I finally got it. Nothing in this world stays the same, least of all feelings. We get a handful of decades if we're lucky. The only constant should be doing what makes you happy. I met Adrian in pure sitcom fashion. He'd moved in recently, we'd nod in the elevator. His features were so perfect they jump-started a private fantasy. If I ever became a rich cougar, I'd totally keep him. One night I came home late and spotted a glamorous, fur-draped woman storming out of his unit, hurling a bank card at him. Don't ever contact me again. There won't be a next time. After she left I couldn't help staring. He picked up the card without the slightest awkwardness. Our eyes met, he smiled, those peach blossom eyes curving, sending a ripple through me. The man was a walking masterpiece, dangerously charming, but apparently the sugar mama had tired of him. Too bad I wasn't rich enough to test my own willpower. That same night Adrian knocked on my door. He tilted his chin toward my kitchen. Something smells amazing, mind if I mooch dinner? I nodded before my brain could veto it. Later I wondered if it was post-breakup despair, or just long-repressed instincts finally breaking free. After he'd praised my cooking a couple of times, the words popped out. 3 meals a day, can I keep you? The second I said it I wanted to evaporate. Adrian didn't look offended in the least. Vegetarian keep or full-on meat keep? I blinked, lost. He leaned in, tilted my chin, and kissed me. A hands-on demonstration of the meat option. From then on, whenever Adrian stayed over, I'd wobble out of bed with jello legs. Fun, yes, but I got scared. Sore muscles were manageable. Yawning through meetings was not. After 2 months I caved and called off our keeper's contract. Morgan, work and money won. I don't plan on marriage or another relationship. I just want to hit my savings target before 40 and vanish to some quiet town. Adrian blew that timetable to bits. He distracted me at work, sure, but longer exposure short-circuited my brain. For whole moments it felt like we were actually dating. Our bodies synced, life synced. He'd grocery shop before I got home, ingredients for whatever I was craving. While I cooked he'd wash and wipe beside me. Movie nights on the couch. He queued up the exact film I'd wanted without asking. Sometimes we'd send each other the same Sterling at the same time. These tiny details made me crave married life more and more. I even caught myself thinking that if Adrian and I had a baby, we could love it with everything we had. The instant that thought surfaced, cold sweat broke over me. Have a child with a gorgeous kept man? I sounded insane even to myself. The day I asked for space, Adrian was still the picture of unruffled grace. We've been together a lot lately, it's normal you're getting bored. Let's take a few days off to cool down. True to his word, he vanished for an entire week. When he reappeared, it was under one clumsy pretext after another for letting himself into my condo. He'd left his boxer briefs behind. There'd been a water shutoff and a power outage at his place. Riley, add in that unfairly perfect face and saying no should have been impossible. Luckily my self-control held, I didn't let him score. Even tonight he resorted to the wet shirt trick. If Chase hadn't shown up, I can't swear I would have kept saying no. Acting? Adrian let out a short, hard laugh. He flicked his gaze between himself and Chase. You think it's impossible Serena could fall for me? Chase yanked Adrian's hand off my waist. Ignoring Adrian, he drilled his glare into me. Serena, I get that you're jealous of Kenzie, but jealousy needs limits. Knock it off, I don't have the bandwidth for tantrums. Before the last word left Chase, his phone rang. The wallpaper was still the selfie together with Mackenzie. A sour wave lurched through my stomach. Bile scalded my throat. I shot into the powder room, hunched over the sink and retched. Adrian followed at once, his broad palm sliding up and down my spine while he passed me tissues and water. Chase finished placating Mackenzie, told her to wait a bit, then stepped in behind us. What's wrong? You sick? Adrian paused, eyes lighting up. Could you be pregnant? Counting back, it'd be that last night. I shook my head. Impossible, we used protection. Adrian grinned, excitement vibrating in his voice. The final round started after midnight, squarely in your safe window, so I didn't wear. While we compared dates as if no one else existed, no one noticed Chase's face strained to chalk. His lips parted, Emery, but no sound escaped. Register, draw blood, tests. At St. Camilla's Hospital I drifted through it all in a fog. Only when the doctor read the lab slip and announced 4 weeks along did reality snap back. This unscheduled child scattered every plan in my head. Keeping it or not? Before I could open my mouth, Adrian was bobbing his head like a dashboard doll. Yes. The doctor flicked him a glance and muttered, wow, Dad's easy on the eyes, but legally the decision isn't his. It's up to your girlfriend. My lips felt forged from lead. I met Adrian's hopeful stare. After an eternity I whispered, I need to think. We exited the elevator straight into Chase. I hadn't even realized he'd trailed us. Mackenzie lounged in his passenger seat. He blocked my car, face flashing livid then ashen when he spotted the positive pregnancy report. Reality finally hit. Adrian and I weren't play acting. Serena. Explain this to me. Where in 10 years did I fail you? Even if we're over, couldn't you leave with a scrap of dignity? You couldn't wait to hand me green horns? You're exactly like your tramp of a mother. I froze, staring at the man I'd loved for a decade as he ripped open scars I thought had healed. Pain slowed my breathing to gasps. Cameron stepped forward and decked him without warning. Shut your filthy mouth. Chase staggered, found his footing, then lurched back. The two of them grappled. Desk job Chase was no match for Gymrat Adrian, and it showed fast. Mackenzie shrieked, jumping out of the car, flapping her hands. Are you going to stop this? Chase is still someone you loved. I watched coolly until Adrian had him on the asphalt, blood seeping from nose and lip, before I even bothered to feign restraint. I gazed down at the bruised, swollen face that had once meant everything and felt nothing. Chase, you can deny the emotional cheating, fine. You can insist I'm the one who strayed, whatever. From this second you're nobody to me. So don't appear in front of me again, begging for relevance. You disgust me. His eyes widened as the word disgust landed. He hauled himself up, desperate. Serena, we've had 10 years. You know I love you. I screwed up, got momentarily obsessed. I thought, his voice cracked, shame choking him. I thought you had no one, that you loved me so much you'd wait, forgive, off to the side. Mackenzie's complexion turned sour. Momentary side trip? Chase, what am I, a souvenir? He shot her a cold glance. You wanted something, I delivered. Wanted what, exactly? Your sagging ass and zero stamina? I'd seen enough. I tugged Adrian into the car. Engine on, garage emptying. Chase tried to limp after us, only for Mackenzie to block him, still screaming. In the rear view he shrank, then vanished. Back at the riverfront penthouse, Adrian dropped the playful mask. Tell me straight, what scares you about keeping this baby? I stalled, the reasons tumbled over one another. I haven't banked enough for my own retirement, let alone a child's. Maybe Adrian's just bored of the fast life and I'm this season's distraction. If Chase could tire of me after 12 years together, why should Adrian be different? And if we married, what stability could he offer? Would I watch him go back to escorting to pay daycare? When I finally spoke, my voice was flat. Look, you don't even have a formal job. Raising a kid? I hesitated, unable to say it out loud. Adrian looked a little lost. No job doesn't mean no money. Why can't I raise a kid? I couldn't help asking. The money that rich lady gave you, is it enough to support yourself? Enough to raise a child? Adrian blanked for a second, then nodded. Yeah, the rich lady's money. She can support me and a baby. My worldview cracked a little. I clenched my teeth. My child doesn't need your sugar mama to pay for anything. Sugar mama? Ellis's face twisted with complicated emotions. When it clicked, he shot to his feet. What sugar mama? That's my mother. Adrian exploded, voice shaking. Because he kept refusing to marry and rejected the family-arranged match, he'd been disowned and his cards cut off. He'd secretly gone to his mom for help while still dodging her orders, so she'd flung a bank card at him and cursed him out. Serena, what have you thought I was these past few months? Adrian's brows drew together as if calculating. Suddenly it hit him. No wonder you offered to keep me that day. No, room and board style? 3 meals included? Serena, you're seriously cheap. Adrian couldn't stomach that I'd mistaken him for a gigolo. Even worse, that I'd still slept with him while thinking it. After fierce inner debate he decided to forgive me. He excelled at talking himself into things. If I was willing to be with him while believing he was a gigolo, I must love him a lot. Eventually he convinced me, genuinely convinced, not just bedvinced. I agreed to keep the baby. We went to visit his parents together. I'd expected a manor guarded by iron gates, the usual swallow a needle uphill climb. Instead, when the Hawthorns heard I was pregnant, one dashed off to burn incense at the temple and the other crossed herself, muttering, Jesus preserve us. My horizons broadened, different faiths, total harmony. Mrs. Hawthorne grabbed my hands, thanking me nonstop. Child, you're my own daughter from now on. Alex, wouldn't that make family reunions awkward? She shot him a glare. Adrian shut up, sheepish. Mrs. Hawthorne kept talking, earnest. We thought the Hawthorne line would die out. His dad and I were convinced he didn't even like women. At that her eyes narrowed. You're not an actress he paid, right? Adrian rubbed his temples and made to leave. Fine, we'll come back in 10 months. His mother hurried to soothe him. I believe you. I believe, but, why does Ms. Vance look familiar? Now that she mentioned it, both parents did seem kind-eyed and familiar. Even Adrian, smiling at me, felt like someone I'd met before. Only when I stepped into his room and saw the old photo did the memory surface. Freshman year I'd worked part-time at the campus aquatic center. I was only supposed to clean during open hours. Until a connected student showed up. Whenever he came, the pool stayed open, and I stayed late. So I never gave him a kindly glance, wouldn't even look him in the eye. He was polite enough. Each late visit he brought me bubble tea or fruit tarts. But an exhausted workhorse needs sleep, not feed, so I refused every snack and kept rolling my eyes. He never lost his temper, just smiled. Things thawed the night he arrived so late the lifeguard had left. He cramped and started drowning. I jumped in, dragged him out, gave him mouth to mouth. When he came to, his ears scarlet, he stammered that he owed me. I hinted I cared nothing for fame, but I lengthened and stressed the word money. I thought he'd catch on. Instead he showed up next day with his parents and a commendation banner. After that he visited even more often, my overtime piled higher. Chase wasn't happy and got me a different job. Soon I never saw the guy on campus. Rumor said he'd gone abroad. Years blurred his face. I only remembered crimson ears and shy words. You took my first kiss. Same here, actually. The blurry face slowly fused with the grin in front of me. I flicked the photo against Adrian's arm. Calling me cheap? You repaid a life-saving favor with a banner? Adrian, the Sting King. He caught my hand, thumb grazing my palm until our fingers laced. Stars danced in his eyes. I'm offering my body for the rescue. Isn't that enough? I hunched my shoulders, goosebumps rising. Somebody haul away this ancient times romantic. Too cheesy. Adrian pulled me into a hug, chin resting on my shoulder. You don't like cheesy lines? I'll keep talking until you build immunity. Serena, I love you. Love at first sight. Why do you think I swam late? To spend extra minutes with you. I've trained since kindergarten, no way I'd nearly drown. Little trick to reel you in. Had my morals been lower back then, could I have stolen you from your boyfriend? You really think me moving next door was fate? Bought that condo at a premium, just as Adrian wished. I grew allergic to romance no more. A year together, I could hear any sappy line without twitching. No awkward fidgeting, no goosebumps. I'd just kiss him in reward. Nice delivery today, here's a kiss. After daughter arrived we stayed wrapped in love. We outlasted the 7-year itch and every 3-year slump that followed. Sometimes classmates mention Chase. In the end he married Mackenzie, just as everyone predicted. The girl really was high maintenance, meddling at his firm, stirring chaos at home, until even mild-tempered Chase lost control and raised a hand. Word was she was pregnant at the time and landed in the hospital. The two families, distant cousins, tore each other apart. Their divorce dragged for years, exhausting them both. Friends said whenever Chase drank with old pals he'd end up weeping regrets, counting how I'd been gentler, smarter, prettier than Mackenzie. He beat his chest, wailing he'd been bewitched. Classmates asked if I felt any regret. I glanced at the handsome, subtly muscled husband beside me, tapped out 2 words on my phone. Yeah, right. Thanks for listening to our story. Rate it 1 to 10 if you like. Hit like, share with friends, drop your thoughts below, and subscribe for more tales. See you next time.